Hello, my 662 subscribers at the time of writing. This is a video of me explaining what Tapx is and why you should and mostly should not play it. Tapx is a playstyle in which the player's two inputs are one key on the keyboard, almost always K2 in game, and the other being tapping with the tablet pen. However, unlike settings where you either alternate or single taps or somewhere in the middle, there are many variants of Tapx, each with their own quirks and features. So let me get into them now. Let's start off with Tobe, because I'm egotistical and want to be the first in the list, as it is what I play. Named after Tobe Buddha, a Japanese player. I apologize for not pronouncing his name correctly. I am not Japanese. You single tap with your pen and stream by alternating between tapping X, or whatever key you have set to K2, and tapping with the pen, or clicking with the mouse, but that's called click X, and that's not what I have in the video title. Why K2 then? It's because the game actually does not let you press K1 and M1 at the same time. You can try it yourself. Much like communism, while it is possible in theory to play with, in practice it is actually very difficult and borderline impossible. So Tapx players just use K2 instead. There's also reverse Tobe, as the name suggests, is Tobe, but in reverse. The most famous player using this playstyle is Morpho, who is famous for having more than 9,000 play counts per month for 5 months in a row, peaking at 14,317 plays during January of 2017. And then there's also Asuki slash Tapx slash Emilia style. Despite what you may have heard from other content creators on the site, it's not what I play or what Yasin plays. I have no idea who that is, but it is what Emilia plays, tapping single taps with pen and streaming with ZX. Like Tobe, there's also a reverse version pioneered by Mayola as seen here. And at last, there's also Tapx Alt, where the player fully alternates between K2 and M1, requiring absurd amounts of coordination, with TTTL, Black Sheep, and Lester being among the first players to pick up this incredibly difficult playstyle. Oxycodone slash Yamamasuta is perhaps the most famous player to play Tapx Alt, as he hit rank 9 back in 2015 with incredible plays that were years ahead of his time. Just search Oxycodone on YouTube after you finish this video and you will see for yourself how truly insane he was at the game. Be sure to add Osu to the search bar if you don't want to see the ongoing opioid crisis. And also, he is not a fireman with kids. That is an impersonator. There are obviously more Tapx players other than the ones mentioned here, such as Blue Dragon slash Miss Magius slash the funny Big Black Streamer 360 BPM Mapmaker, who is actually a high-level Tapx player with his own variation of Tapx where he double taps, jumps, and singles. Or Speedrun Sins, a Tapx old player with incredible passes for his rank. The question in your mind right now should be, should I learn Tapx? So let me get into the pros and many cons of Tapx. Let's start off with the upsides. With Tapx, you can increase your wall speed by a staggering amount. Often players can hit streams at a higher BPM than they otherwise could on their keyboard, resulting in how people can farm Hidamari no Yuta with Tapx with very little experience on actual maps. Some also argue that Tapx is easier to learn since tapping with and aiming is done with the same hand, making it more intuitive to learn. Despite the prospects of playing speed as a method to gain PP being downright terrible, to say the least, thanks to the surely well thought out hotfix, which is both not hard and does not fix much of anything. Both of these factors combine together to give the illusion that Tapx is easy to master, or a word for word quote from the aforementioned unnamed content creator. If for some reason you want to become a high level speed player with awful genetics, you can just use Tapx instead of clip of someone playing Tapx and not Tapx. The downsides are plentiful, with the main reason behind it all being coordination. While it is easy to hop on the game and play something like Dash Hopes, which is OT6 by the way, and match your rate for the map with higher accuracy than you may otherwise get with ZX, play an actual speed map and you would find that getting higher accuracy on Tapx is actually fairly difficult, as the coordination is now on both of your hands instead of just two fingers on the same hand. It could be easier for you to hit a stream, but not to actually stream it properly. This problem intensifies on lower BPMs and finger control maps as the coordination becomes even more important. Sometimes it's not even easier to hit the stream, as the cursor shake induced by tapping the pen and the aforementioned increased difficulty in coordination is much more difficult to hit space streams. Therefore, even if you can stream the BPM of the map, the spacing of the streams makes a huge difference, resulting in the map either being extremely easy to almost being impossible. This problem is compounded with Locklock. Despite this game being old enough to get groomed on Discord, Locklock remains as a game mechanic in 2021, meaning that if you're so unfortunate as to miss one note on the stream, it is likely that you will miss many more notes and fail the entire map if the mapper was so cruel as to set the HP of the map to higher than 0.2. However, it doesn't mean that it's impossible. Players like the Omni Nami have successfully overcome both obstacles as shown here, but the point generally stands. Due to coordination being harder, it follows that mastering the playstyle also becomes more difficult than ZX in my biased opinion. Learning how to control and coordinate both hands takes a lot of effort, and this is shown by that Tapx players generally have high play counts. Well, at this point, hopefully you realize Tapx is not the most viable of playstyles in current year, but if you still, for some unexplainable reason, want to try the playstyle out, there are a few tips that I can give to you. As I've said, most downsides of Tapx stems from coordination, and that is precisely why new players new to the playstyle should focus on coordination. Start playing on slower maps and slowly work your way up. This is the opposite of what I did, and the results should be clear that what I did was not the best method of learning. People don't start spamming 290 BPM bursts on ZX, so why would you do so on Tapx? Start slow and avoid mashing, even if it's not cool and very lame to play slow maps. The payoff is just worth it, since it's very easy to lose control and start double tapping without properly learning coordination. I've also been asked on how to stop shaking so much on Tapx, and my answer to that is grip. It all comes down to how you grip the pen. Find a grip that you are comfortable tapping with, without slipping. Personally, I grip the pen exactly the same as I would grip a real pen for writing. You can also play on a larger area to minimize shakes, but that's not a must, as many Tapx players play on small areas, such as myself playing on 65mm. And now, time for some personal opinions. In my opinion, the playstyle is on a decline. Many of the Tapx players that were once at the top are now inactive, or just straight up stopped playing, with only a few notable players left. However, despite my grievances with the playstyle, I personally think it was worth it for me, and I don't regret learning it. I've been playing Tapx for almost 5 years now, and I've set many scores that I'm truly proud of setting, even if every single one of them gets unfairly nerfed in the upcoming hotfix. So, in conclusion, like this video, Tapx is not very good and you shouldn't play it, but it would be something cool for you to try out. Thanks for watching, and I may or may not make more content in the future depending on how this video is received. If you have any questions, just put them down in the comment section and I'll reply.